Welcome to Reshoot, amateurs in no suits, too many movies to explore. Ruthie, Hector, and Ed, laughter till the end, let's see something never done before.
I want to hear your fixes, because it sounds like you have a more comprehensive vision than I do, because I don't really know how mine ends, and I have some Mad Libs parts where I was like, I feel like you guys could come up with better ideas.
That's fine. We've done that before.
I mean, mine was kind of like that too. I was going to be like, I don't know, do you like this? I can workshop something in progress.
No, we've done this
That's
before.
like the real way to make the pitch. It's like you hear the person being like, I'd like it more if it was like that. And you're like, it is like that. It actually always was. So
yeah.
You read my mind in the future.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I can't believe you knew that was always on.
Yeah, write it down.
Control F, replace.
We're all JJ. We're all taking.
We are all the JJs.
Yes.
I am all the in his. I'm sure in JJ's mind. I'm sure in Disney's mind, it's like we're all the Johnsons, and I'm all the Abrams, and then just.
I want to be all the Taika Waititis.
Not after Thor 4, you don't.
No.
I like Thor 4,
right.
but that movie could.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's good. It just had some. It needs some rewrites.
I liked it.
It needs a few more edits.
You just need to turn off your brain and enjoy it for what it is.
Turning off your brain's a very controversial thing to say on film Twitter. Okay, so let me just. Sorry, I'm not trying to be bossy. It's just I lose track very easily with my ADHD.
Okay.
So Rise of Skywalker. My likes. Honestly, I love that the sequel trilogy just likes using puppets and prosthetics and make animatronics and stuff. It's great. I don't mind CGI, but there's just something nice about it being physical.
It hits different. You can tell when they can interact with something, it comes off better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A really silly Rey had a little pistol blaster that she was using when she was in the They Fly Now scene. It looked really cool. I wish we saw more of it. I just thought it was a really cool design. I know.
I think I mentioned that.
Yeah. I already mentioned
that's what my likes are like too. I'm like, I like that puppet that was in that one shot for a second.
I mean, it's people work hard on this shit, you know?
I know. I'm just saying. I also had to be like, I like that light there.
There was a lens flare. That specific lens flare?
Oh god, the lens flares.
Yes.
They're too funny to me. I honestly like this look of Kijimi, the planet.
Yeah. I got
I don't like. I almost went to this the Force Dyad. I'm glad JJ kept that, and I'm glad he kind of added more to it a little bit. It was actually a really good idea of implementing stuff. Good job, JJ. I put Babu Frick with a heart on my notes.
We love Babu. In this household, we love Babu Freak.
We love Babu Freak. He was, I think, in the ad for Mandalorian season 3,
and I cannot wait.
And I can't wait. I'm excited.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that old?
Yeah. I mean, Yoda lives forever, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe Yoda's 50.
Yeah, he is.
I hope it's a young, suave Babu Frick who's just
he's got
a full head of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a scarf and he rides in a little speeder toy.
No, he rides. No. He rides in a regular. He rides in a full-on speeder, but the handlebars have handlebars.
Oh my god!
And then he's just throttling the little handlebar to move the bigger handlebar.
He's got
That's a really good. That's a really good one, Ruthie. That was really good. Okay, my last like. The saber staff fight, when Rey was fighting Dark Rey and there was the saber staff. Fucking love saber staffs. I wish there was. That was cool. I especially how it
It became a nutcracker lightsaber.
Yeah, it folds.
That was cool.
They actually have added it in the High Republic books, so I'm glad people like the saber.
It wouldn't work as a nutcracker, but yeah.
I mean, it would work as a nut slicer.
Yeah.
Nut melter.
You have a peanut allergy? Not anymore.
You're into cock and ball torture? Oh boy! I'm not gonna delete that, even though I should.
We say explicit. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. Dislikes.
Oh boy.
I didn't write as many because I got way into the movie, but I can easily. I don't like much of the movie. The pacing's bad. My general big dislikes. The pacing's bad. it feels like JJ was trying to make a video game version of this because he had to have his idea stretch his 3-movie idea
Oh
into
my
2.
god. It does. It feels like you're watching the Lego Star Wars of this movie.
Don't
Where it's
bastard.
just
Don't
like-
bastard. I was about to say thank you.
That was like my first like foray into Xbox, like console gaming. Was
No,
playing-
I like Lego Star Wars as a franchise and as an idea. I like all those Lego games. But I mean, if you know how they are like, well, we just hop from set piece to set piece and they like don't do all the talking scenes.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like you're watching Lego Star Wars versions of the cutscenes. It without the jokes.
I would have liked. I think that's an easy fix. Just say like, take out all the dialogue, give all the characters little like sign things. They just point to that, and go, huh? Oh.
The best thing of Lego Star Wars was in the second game when they did the original trilogy, and for Vader revealing that Luke is his son, he holds a picture up of like a family picture and he points at him. I don't know, it was great. I'm glad the jokes are funny when they talk. They're still really funny. I was playing the game over at my friend's house over the weekend. I wish there was something charming about them not talking.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
The fact that they can talk now. No.
It works fine in some cases. They still have
talk
good writers.
now?
They talk
now.
They talk. God damn it! I took me too late. Fuck.
Oh, they talk now. They talk now. They talk now. The problem with it is that he delivers it exactly like George Costanza. It like
Oh, God,
man,
that's
you're
it.
right.
he's like, it's like they talk now. Like, Jeremy, I can't believe it. They talk now. It takes it. It's so cartoony. That's
It really
why
is.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I just don't want to lose my spot. Sorry, I just want to lose my
Yeah.
place.
No. Let's go.
So they remade Kylo's helmet. That was a big dislike. It looks cool. He only uses it for like 5 scenes. It's just toys
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
Abrams was not happy that
scar.
Johnson got rid of a toy.
Yeah.
You know.
Like he's an edgelord, but I don't feel like he's that much of an edgelord, especially at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of like on the up half of his art. I don't know.
No, I get you. I don't like that there's fucking 2 desert planets. The one where they find Lando and then Tatooine. It just feels like in the same movie, it feels a
It's
bit
so
much.
frustrating. It's like even when we go to a place that isn't Jakku, which is basically Tatooine, we're on a different place and we immediately go to Beggar's Canyon. It's like, well, how is this possible? Like, this is the same situation.
Yeah.
in
Why
every
didn't
one
they
of
just
these
go back to
movies.
Jakku? I would have liked going
I-
back to Jakku.
Yeah, I don't like Jakku as much. It was good for the bit, but then afterwards. Okay, so Chewie. I didn't like the Chewie fake out and the C-3PO fake out. The worst one was
No.
Chewie because it's literally in the very next scene we reveal that he's alive. My stupid dislike, and I'm worried you're not going to get this one. I'm going to look really nerdy. Dio should freeze time once. And if anyone gets what I'm referencing,
Is that JoJo?
yes.
Okay, great. Is
Yeah,
that a
Dio should
JoJo
freeze-
reference?
It's a motherfucking JoJo reference.
I wish I could
We're all-
create those like kanji symbols flying in the air.
I
behind
know,
me.
or the posing. If audience, we were all posing. If you've seen our pictures, then just imagine that
Yeah.
however you want.
It was me, Dio. Ah.
Okay, so my fixes. I'm gonna give you. Oh shit! I completely forgot. I made a fix and then never implemented it into the actual big fix.
Oh.
I'm deleting that one. Okay,
Oh.
I was gonna say that
The big
Phasma
fix.
survived, but I forgot afterwards
I
that
love
Phasma was in
Phasma.
the. Yeah, but I love her, but she's so forgettable. I don't.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
wish
thing.
she
It's
had
like
a-
I love the concept, and they never. I'm like, oh right, I love her. I actually just love that actress,
know.
Gwendolyn Christie, right?
Oh.
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Just I'm just like, oh, they're gonna do something great with her, and it's just never
No.
fucking do.
Oh,
So-
sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna. So I said Phasma survived. Forget that. I don't.
Phasma retires.
Phasma
She gets a
retires.
wife,
She
she's
escapes,
gonna
yeah,
Somehow
fight for-
Phasma returns.
So Phasma turns. Maybe she's like in the celebration. You can just see her in the background with like the helmet, just like drinking
Yeah.
out of the helmet, drinking like a whole thing of booze out of the helmet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, stupid fix over. So we start with a title crawl. It's been 4 to 5 years since episode 8.
Okay.
Rey is teaching Finn and a few others in the Resistance how to use the Force. She can find some of them as Force users.
That sounds
goes
awesome
out-
already.
She scouts planets.
Right.
She's bringing them in.
I'm intimidated and I already went.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. So
in mine, she's teaching them fishing. I have to fix this immediately. Like, why fishing? I was just trying to come up with ideas. Damn it! I mean, I had the
So-
Force too.
so God damn it.
Sorry, I'm not
No,
good.
you're
for
fine.
distracting.
You're fine. So I think what's going on to just give the dynamic better, it's not like Finn's a complete newbie by this point. Like, I think Rey within like a month after episode 8 knew that Finn was force sensitive, and Finn was already figuring it out. So Finn's already knows most of it. He's arguably equivalent to like a knight.
Yeah, because he's had all the physical training when he was a stormtrooper.
Yes, so he's already the equivalent of a knight. He is going to so he's more like a TA to all the rest of them.
Right.
You know, the
right.
teacher assistant, for you people who don't know what TA is, which is fine.
Sometimes it'd be like
I was
that.
gonna have Broom Boy from episode 8.
Yes!
I was gonna have him be one of them.
I
Who
was
is
expecting him to come back.
yeah, but again, people don't like the
JJ
idea.
refuses.
Yeah, JJ
Fuck that particular
People
child
like-
in
Yeah,
particular.
right. Yeah, JJ should have written in the line, "I can't believe Broom Boy died." What? How?
Broom Boy escaped slavery and returned to his home planet.
How does everyone know who Broom Boy is that you could just announce that? That's crazy. Yeah, he exploded. Also, Admiral
wait.
Akbar is back. It's like, stop just changing things because we're mad.
I am actually sad they killed Akbar on 8. I
I
actually
am too. It was
felt-
very
Yeah.
unceremonious. I've heard it.
It was, yeah, I
referred
felt
to.
super sad. I think it was because the actual actor died, so I understand why, but like, it still sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so I'm gonna go into lightsaber colors here, just kind of give you an idea of where everyone's at. So there's like an unofficial, very way of explaining what colors do, like what lightsaber colors specify. Blue is more like general, like warrior. Green is like you're a warrior, but you use more of the force.
I think I'd have a great
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's like unofficial, like, but it's close enough for people to see it. So yellow, like the one Rey has at the end, was originally used by the Temple Guards in the Old Republic, or the Republic days. Their whole thing was like, we guard the temple, we use the force, we are warriors, but we're also willing to use like unorthodox means of getting our mission done or
Yeah.
protecting stuff.
So they're like Secret Service, but
Yes,
Jedi.
yes.
Okay.
So so like they learn other skills supposedly.
Whatever it takes. They're
Yes,
CIA
yes.
Jedi.
Rey has a yellow saber staff from the get-go. Because again, maybe part of it is to honor Luke and the ones who came before her. Part of the staff is from the old broken lightsaber bit, but it's let the past die. That part does ring true to me. For audiences who don't know me, I'm not usually this serious. I just like Star Wars a lot.
It reminds me of our Sonic episode.
Oh god, the Sonic episode was wild. I actually like.
He's a Sonic fan, so he's like, all these, as many references I can put, I'm going to.
I went wild. I still haven't seen Sonic 2 just because I don't have Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
yes.
haven't seen it either. I'm curious about it though.
It's supposedly really good. Sorry, I'm just trying to get
Sorry.
off. No, it's fine. Sorry, I'm not. So
Anyway, Bunny Rabbit has a purple lightsaber because she's
Yes.
the coolest.
yes, Finn has a
Whereas
green
Princess
lightsaber.
Sally.
God, took me a second. Tails does not have a yellow lightsaber. He's an evil bastard boy. He has red.
What about Broom Boy? What color?
He's a child
lightsaber does he-
genius or the dumbest character either, depending on which cartoon you're watching.
Yes, Broom Boy.
Yeah.
Yes, Broom Boy. I
course-
think would just be blue for training, general
Okay.
training. He's young.
He's a light broom saber.
Oh god damn it,
That's perfect.
that's
Half and half.
perfect.
Yes.
It's
I
a
actually
Darth
would-
Maul broom.
Yeah, I think Finn, while having a green or blue one, I know this is going to sound like a lot of people who've seen Rebels, he also carries a small blaster with him, so he can use both.
I mean,
'Cause-
Yeah.
he's like
As-
a weapons dude.
Because Ezra does that in the show. He has like a lightsaber. Have you seen Rebels?
No, I haven't. I'm like not well versed in the cartoon
Same.
stuff, but
Okay,
I've seen all the movies.
okay. Ezra has like a green lightsaber and a pistol. I know it's a little whatever, but like, come on, look, if Filoni can take stuff from the cartoons and re-implement it into the live action, I can do it too.
Mhm.
And this
I
isn't
mean,
even a
makes
complaint.
sense
It's
to
just
me. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like the dregs of the resistance and there's this new threat, you're gonna want to use whatever means you can.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's not Leia died already before the movie starts. Leia is dead. It's mentioned, we don't see how, It's hushed. Everyone's just extremely angry about it. Like, not just sad, but like angry. Like, this shouldn't. Like, whatever happened was just a whole thing.
A horrible fluke.
A horrible fluke.
Gotcha.
So, there's barely any people who were in the. Remember how episode 8 it ended with everyone. Like, everyone, the entire Resistance could fit in the Millennium Falcon. That's how dire it was.
Yeah.
I want to keep that. It's just grown a little bit in just 4 to 5 years. No one has hope. And hope is dying. I like that theme in the movie of 9, that hope is dying and you have to really fight to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rey is staying behind because she doesn't want Kylo to find out anything through the Force dyad. So she stays behind and she's just training whoever shows up who's Force sensitive. She's not even finding them. She's just staying behind.
Yeah.
Right now. Like, she's ready to go when she needs to, but, you know, she's, like, I'm taking a little bit like what you said, Matt. She's a much wiser person. She's going to think...
This is her, like, Luke
realizing,
moment.
like, Luke moment of, like, as much as I want to be on the action, I have to sometimes take a step back. So it's just Finn, Rose, and Poe. They're all going on the missions. So I'm cutting to Finn, Rose, and Poe. They've been doing secret mission, like small guerrilla tactics, just to kind of take over small areas that are controlled by the First Order. So I'm gonna give you the example. This can be a montage. Rose blends in and gets info from the locals. Poe comes up with a plan and then plays distraction by flying his ship around. Finn, being who has been trained in stormtrooper techniques and army techniques. Strategy, thank you.
Yep.
Is leading whoever he can to overtake the First Order. Just guerrilla tactics. Maybe have like a First Order... This is a popular thing on the internet I saw years ago. And I do like the idea of this, where it's just like maybe a few First Order troopers have deserted also. And they have old semblances of their gear. And they're fighting with Finn. This is something I've read years ago. This part wasn't original. Also, each place as they keep going looks worse and worse. Like, it's whatever the First Order's terrible usually, right? They take everything. They're like a parasite. But this is like uninhabitable after a while, even to the First Order troopers.
This is a Carthage salt the earth kind of
yes.
situation.
And like it's just getting worse. And like Finn and Poe are getting more dejected. Like maybe they look at each other in sadness, or like maybe like when they're helping each other up after an explosion, like they linger a little too long on holding the hands as they're lifting each other up. And they're just getting desperate. Everything is going to shit. So Rey keeps hearing about this over time. She's reading every sacred text that she took, like from Luke's hut.
Did she take it, or did Luke, or did Yoda put it on the...
No, she took it. She took it.
Oh,
the implication was she took it because it was on the Falcon at the end. She took it. Okay. Yoda was trolling Luke, but
gotcha.
She had it.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, it's just I like 8 a lot. I remember a lot of that movie. So she finds something about a crystal. There was an old book I read when I was a kid. This is Hector speaking, not narrator. Hector. I didn't read it, but I read the back, and I read bits of it at the library, called Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And it was a crystal called the Kyber crystal, with spelled differently than how it is with the regular lightsaber crystals, that if the user finds it, they have insane control over the Force. Like, they're nearly invincible. This was supposed to be used... If Episode 4 was not as successful as it was, this was going to be the original... This was going to be the next film instead of Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
where it's Luke and Leia searching and trying to beat Darth Vader into finding this crystal. And like one thing it did... Yeah, it's really cool. I really liked it. So this is what she finds. I didn't think of a name for it. I didn't want Kyber. I thought Caliburn, then I remembered that's the name of the fucking Excalibur sword, so I'm not doing that.
What about the name Cyber? It's a cyber crystal. With an S.
Mm-hmm.
SYB.
The cyberpunk crystal.
Yes.
2020.
And
Red.
it's voiced
Ray
by
and
Keanu.
Kylo. Ray and Kylo are force dieting. They're like, let's cyber.
It's not It doesn't count as losing your virginity if you do it through a forced dyad portal. It's like
Oh, God.
through a hole in a sheet, or like
Oh,
through the
Soaking?
mailbox in
oh,
a
soaking,
lake house.
no. Force soaking, no, don't.
It's a force power bottom.
Oh, God.
Forced jump humping.
No, stop it, guys. I can't stop. I hate you guys. I hate you both.
It's always my favorite part of the podcast, just throwing Hector off. I love
I'm
doing
tearing
this.
up. Fuck. Okay. Oh, God. Get it together. Okay.
Whew, sad moment. Sad. Hope need to fight.
Okay. Kylo senses that she's looking for something, and he tells his generals to focus more on Rey. You get a good look at him as he says this. Like, the camera pans and turns to see Kylo. He has bags under his eyes, even more than usual. His hair is messier and greasier.
Can it be greasier?
Yeah, it
Apparently.
can. It can.
Oh.
If anything, it's grown longer and more disheveled.
Damn.
It's bad. He's unraveling. Hux starts to talk him off, about the resistance gaining traction. But then all of a sudden, as he's mid-sentence, faster than ever seen before, Kylo pulls him towards him. And he doesn't just pull him towards him and force choke him. He grabs him and actually starts to squeeze with his actual bare hand. Like, no tantrums, just, I'm the supreme leader, you're gonna fucking listen to me. And I have this bad habit of how do you say this? Whenever I do reshoots, sometimes I tend to imagine them as more animated looks for some reason. But if you can find a way to live action, kind of do the Ghibli hair rise and surprise or anger.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, right.
I think that would be cool with Kylo.
Yeah, you can do the wind blowing up and just kind of through teasing up. Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
So Hux says fine, and he looks scared, but then as soon as he turns around, there's a small smile on his face. And it looks like he's appeasing the smile at first looks like he's appeasing the supreme leader, but you can kind of sense he's hiding something,
you think he is he kissing his ass or something else?
Something else. Okay, he's trying to save his ass, but there's something else. Rey's about to leave when Finn and Poe say they're going with her. She's like, I want to go alone. It's like, we're going with you, like Ruthie likes.
I don't know, I liked it.
I know, and I'm keeping it in.
I appreciate it.
And she doesn't object. She stops objecting. It's like, what about the liberation missions you're doing? And then they just put an arm around each other, and they're like, oh no, Rose has got it. She's been handling the last 3 missions alone. We don't, planning wise. So I think just to get a good sense of how the camaraderie works, for the 3 of them, the big 3 here, they're going to go on a few missions. They're going to stop on a few planets. They save a few people, right?
Mm-hmm.
To try and stop the cipher, maybe they try to find different people who can help. It's less of a video game fetch quest and more of this, we don't know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying everything we can. So they go on Kijimi. It's the last spot on the cipher map that Luke made. So this little girl gives Rey the necklace. I thought that scene was sweet when the little girl gave her a necklace, and I felt really bad for her.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, but it got ripped away and never used again. And I get why, but plot-wise, but it just, I don't know. I think a nice little humanizing thing with Rey was sweet. So she's going to keep that necklace on the rest of the movie. So when they're in Kijimi, Lando's there, and he is fucked up. The little girl takes them to Lando. Mm-hmm. Lando's fucked up. He saved her. And I couldn't describe the injuries, but just, it's bad. We don't know if he's going to make it.
Bad burns? What kind of injuries?
Burns? I'll say burns and some crushing, maybe.
Okay.
So Lando gives them the last piece of the cipher. The last page.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo senses it and then rips, and he just kind of grabs in and rips half of that page.
Okay.
So now I was like, okay, you guys can't do it now. Rey gets angry, and she's just lost hope. This was the last bit. This was what they were looking for. Have you played... I know you've seen me play it, Ruthie. Have you played Fallen Order?
No, I haven't yet. No, it's on my list, but...
Okay. There's these people called Purge Troopers. They are clones, or they're stormtroopers that could for the most part, help Inquisitors fight Jedi. They
Ah.
they were very tough enemies in the game.
It's implied that Finn trained to be a purge trooper with the lightsaber training, right? Because he can operate a lightsaber a little too well.
Yeah, besides the fact that he was force sensitive from the get.
Oh.
But yeah, no,
I
I see
mean,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but I see what you're saying. No, you're right. That's a good. I
That's
actually think you might be
interesting.
right. Yeah. So there's purge troopers. Rey just pulls out the saber, double ignites it, and it just starts going ham. Like she's killing them. I think with one of them, like she does the connecty. You know how it's like the same thing. Like maybe
When she does the nut, when
she does the nutcracker, it's over
Yeah.
someone's head.
Yeah.
Just neck. Just slices the head off. It's just she's tapping into the dark side. She just once with one guy. By this point, Poe and Finn are already fighting with her. At that point, Finn is like, "Nope, stop it!" Like Rey, stop it. Maybe again, he's green. He has mastery of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
I think some Jedi canonically could use the Force to calm people down or calm animals down.
Finn,
He uses a version of that to calm Rey down.
Finn would have that.
Yes. So they just run away at this point. It's getting too bad. They don't want to bring heat to Lando. They fucking book it. We learn now that Kylo and Hux are in Coruscant. This was something that was supposed to happen in the original version of Episode 9. It was supposed to be called Duels of the Fates. It was the guy who did Colin Trevorrow, the guy who did
Right.
Jurassic World.
I remember he did a script.
I read bits of I've seen bits of it. I've seen bits of the script. I took the Coruscant thing. I'm not gonna pretend I came up with everything here.
It was a cool idea.
It was cool. I think it was just for a small bit, though. I don't remember much of how it was used. But I'm saying, you know what? Kylo says, "Let the past die," but Coruscant's a nice place. So their capital is in Coruscant of the new First Order Empire, whatever you want to call it.
Grandpa was here, so why can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rose is there at this point, and she's like, "This is our last ditch effort. We're burning out. We have one more attack. Hey, the three of you, please come here." So they come over, and they're going to get the people to revolt. Rose and Poe hack into this media center radio control tower, whatever, and they show a video of Leia helping save people on one mission. And like she has her hands full trying to save people using the Force. Hux shows up from behind and shoots her multiple times.
Like in the background.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a coward.
He would.
Yeah, he would. Kylo sees this and fucking destroys Hux. He's more unraveled at this. Like he's inconsolable. Like, you know, it's bad. I think we're gonna have to off-screen it just to leave it worse.
Oh, so the decapitation for a PG movie is fine, but the Kylo's
No, I'm implying like he's doing some terrible stuff with the lightsaber.
Yeah, but like
And the Force.
yeah.
Like Kylo
So-
is unhinged.
Does Kylo know his mom is dead already?
He doesn't know until now.
Oh, it's a
He-
double whammy.
It's a double whammy. This was their plan. Rey senses this, and because he's so unstable, she can kind of, for once, have the more control over the dyad. She sees through his eyes the final the cipher
Oh yeah.
page. She puts it together. The crystal's under the ruined Jedi Temple in Coruscant. It's completely demolished. Like, it's, you know, the Emperor destroyed it. I noticed in The Mandalorian that Luke was building a new Jedi Temple somewhere else. Why not the original in Coruscant? I think it was too destroyed. That's my guess, and I implemented it here. Poe, you know, being the son of a general of the Republic. Or wait. No, yeah, his dad in the comics was like a big pilot in the rebellion, and he was like a hero. So he uses that to try and convince the nobles in the higher class to rise up. Because if this happened to Leia, it's going to happen to them. This isn't the old Empire. You're not cushy and safe.
Mm-hmm.
Finn, you know, didn't come from much. He kind of talks to some of the seedier, poorer parts of Coruscant. It's like, yeah, maybe some of you criminals did bad things. I was a stormtrooper. But look, I can make my choice now, and so can you. I'm kind of trying to bring Finn's journey full circle instead of just him being a Rey bot.
Yeah.
So Kylo's noticing that Rey's going to the temple, and he's like, "What's going on?" He falls after her. Finn and Poe at first get the upper hand, but while this later bit's happening, they're going to start losing in a bit. You can probably guess when. So Rey uses her scavenger skills that she used in 7 to just navigate the ruins and make her way to the bottom of the temple, or near bottom of the temple. As she gets closer to the crystal, she can tell where it is. Kylo follows her, and because they're so close to the crystal, their powers are very much.
Oh, they're already amplifying.
They're already amplified just being near it.
Ooh.
So they're just like duking it out hard, like, you know. I was thinking, like, have you? I know I'm asking a lot. Have you played this? But have you played Force Unleashed?
That's the 360 one, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I played that one now.
Okay, it's a hack and slash. They had a really cool move that I wish was used in the actual games, where if you were to press the lightsaber and the Force Lightning button at the same time, Starkiller would do like a slash, but it would extend further with lightning. They're doing.
That's cool.
Kylo is doing shit like this. You know, there's no flying. I don't want flying. It doesn't feel Star Wars if they fly.
Yeah, keeping it a little bit more.
So they're using a lot of telekinesis. They're bouncing around. Like, everything's floating. They're arguably making everything worse. They shouldn't be doing this in a ruin, but they're both just so emotionally damaged at this point, they don't care. So, like, you know, Kylo grabs a jewel, and he just starts whamming on her. Like, she is not coming out of this. She's about to lose hope. She sees the necklace that the little girl gave her, nearly torn, still there. So she's like, she thinks back to her days as a scavenger, where she had to fight dirty sometimes. And she has one last trick. So she's running at Kylo. Kylo's like, okay, and just goes to go to slash. He's expecting her to block it with the saber, like the saber staff. And he's going to probably do a fake out and then just, you know, whatever.
Yeah, he's already like strategizing,
yes.
Yeah.
She turns off her saber as before connects, and then using the momentum and his surprise, whacks him in the butt of the head with the staff. And as he's disoriented, she puts her hand on his head, kind of like what Kylo did to her in Episode 7, when he kind of, in a sense, activated her Force powers.
When he really, when she really started.
Yeah, when he was trying to get her mind, you know, trying to get her, read her mind. She uses it on him, and she shows him everything that he has, all the terrible things he's done as Supreme Leader. Because, I don't know, I feel like a lot of generals in real life stop.
You kind of have to.
They don't have to experience it firsthand. They just, like, send someone off to do it.
The highest, you know, the politician, not to be too political, but the politicians who make all these choices, they don't see them as people. They kind of see them as just...
Well, you know that old story about how nuclear weapons, how they were going to set up the football, the launch codes for the nukes?
Yeah.
So the original idea, someone said, tattoo it on someone's heart. So what happens is, sir, we need to launch the nukes. They bring the guy in. The president has to say, like, sorry, Bob, it's time for the nukes. And he has to pull out a gun and kill the man, read the code off this guy's heart. And somebody heard this story and they were like, what the hell? If you did that, no one would ever use the nukes. And the other guy was like, yeah, that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
He can't see. That's really cool. Oh, yeah, so sort of like that. Like, you need to see what you've been actually doing. Why you need to stop this. I don't care about power. You know, it's like, I just need you to stop this. She has to. So I think the imagery is like, he sees all the chaos and bloodshed and death he has caused. And more importantly, as the last memory, he sees a moment where Rey caught, you know, strong, no fear, has to do whatever has to be done. Leia, in her own room, crying over Han and Kylo and Ben, her son. How they're both lost in different senses.
That would break him. He is such a mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy. So And I'm saying as this happens, I think the imagery would be like the room is just everything is super suspended, just
Finally at peace, but
sort
yeah.
of, but like everything. This is the moment that decides everything, and time seems to literally almost stand still. Kylo uses the crystal, pauses, uses the crystal to heal Rey a little bit, just a little. Again, you need impossible power to heal even a little. And then the lightsaber floating, his lightsaber just floating, slices the crystal in half to never be used again before throwing it his lightsaber further into the abyss. It's now lost. The darkness is literally behind him now. He gives up. He tells everyone to give up. He's the leader. They have to for the most part. Everyone celebrates. Finn and Poe kiss. They're free. They're free to do what they want.
Yes.
Ben, this last bit I kind of took. There's a YouTuber called Cosmot Variety Hour. He had this thing of fixing episode 9. I don't remember much, but one thing that stuck with me was it would be much more interesting if Kylo didn't just get the cheap ass redemption arc. Oh, and now I'm dead. I'm a good guy. Now I'm dead.
Yeah, I hated that.
Make him have to face the reality of what he did for the rest of his life. This is the rise of Skywalker. The last Skywalker has risen from the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And Rey is watching over him. There might be a romance later. We don't know. We're not going to know.
It's again, like, step 1 is fixing me.
Step 1 is fixing me, fixing the world, then maybe us. And that's not going to be in the words. That can just be shown through a look.
Yeah.
And then that's where it ends.
That's good. I mean, that's really good.
Mine was dark.
I mean, it made sense. I liked how fully thought out it was. There's a lot in there that's really, really good. Really,
thank you.
Really good.
Knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
Yeah, nailed it. Forewarning, mine is not as complete as that.
Hey,
that's fine.
My last one was the last episode, the one I'm about to release this week when we're recording this. That was my worst one. So I think in a while. So you're fine. And
we bring unfinished stuff to the table. We can kind of
workshop it together.
Yeah.
We can zhuzh it. Well, should I just go through my stuff, or do you want to say any more?
How do you want to do it?
Yeah, you tell us.
Okay. So I'm gonna just speed through my my parts, because a lot of stuff we've already talked about in just jumping around a little bit throughout.
Yeah.
So, I kind of like that. The Emperor's been every voice in Kylo's head. Even though that's the first of a billion retcons in this movie, I just like that as a concept that he's been there. I like the Emperor's creepy makeup. I think it's another great Ian McDiarmid performance, and he's fantastic in all these movies. I kind of like that Rey has unique parentage, although I don't necessarily like or care that she's a Palpatine. I thought she comes from no one thing. I thought that could be the case, but I never really 100% trusted Kylo in that moment, because I'm he could be saying anything to manipulate her. I don't know that he's necessarily telling the truth in this moment. I thought the spy idea was fun, just there being a spy. I thought that was cool. I liked all the tactile Muppets and stuff like that. I love Kerry Russell, and I'm just happy she's in this movie. All the creatures in the Kijimi bar I thought were really cool. I liked when C-3PO's memory was wiped and he is just introducing himself in the middle of a very tense situation and not getting the tone of what's going on. I thought it was a really good performance by Anthony Daniels all around in this movie. I like the shot where it's one of the best shots in terms of composition in the movie, when all of the rebel characters are around the deceased Leia, and they're all standing around her in sort of a Renaissance funeral portrait almost, and it's just it's just a still, or maybe just a camera pullback moment, but it's really, really nice. I already mentioned I love the Harrison Ford's performance when he's speaking to Ben in that scene. I think Daisy Ridley, even though she has like a really impossible role as written in this, where she's like constantly tense or angry or stressed or feeling all of them at once, I think she's a continually watchable movie star. And I think that when she's wearing Luke's X-Wing gear in that scene, she looks absolutely fucking adorable. And it's like one of the
Yeah.
cutest things with the big helmet. And I'm like, oh, it's she's wearing the classic costume. Like it just made me really happy in a geeky
Yeah.
Yeah,
way.
especially she did that in
Um,
7. She had the like toy X-wing helmet that she had. Like she was
Yeah.
just
I don't
digging
think it was a
around.
toy. I think it
Or,
was
yeah,
one she found
well,
from
yeah,
the
it was an
wreckage.
actual one, but
right,
you
but
kind
it
of
was like
Yeah,
her,
yeah, it's like a
her
little.
almost like this is my dream. I'm gonna cosplay this a little bit at home while I'm doing this, and I loved that fulfillment of that. I like seeing Luke again, even though I feel like old Luke is sometimes feels more like Mark Hamill than he does like Luke, in that he's a little bit sassier, which
Yeah.
is funny. But I love Mark Hamill so much and all of his
Yeah, he's
I'm fine
performances
with
that
this.
it's like,
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with that.
So my dislikes, we've gone over a bunch of things that I really went into a ton of detail, but like, yeah, I'm not sure what Kylo wants, whether Kylo wants power or he wants to be with Rey or he wants, I'm not sure what he wants. That's a big thing. In the very early on in the movie, they do this light speed skipping thing. And I feel like the entire movie is light speed skipping over a billion ideas. Don't like this idea? Here's 10 per second. Maybe you'll like this one. It goes quantity over quality. In the first 10 minutes of this movie, we have the Emperor's alive. He created Snoke. He's been every voice in Kylo's head. Kylo wants to kill him, then maybe he doesn't. Rey's parents aren't who you think they are. Star Wars chess, 2 new alien characters, TIE fighter chase, light speed skipping across 4 different locations that we never see again, giant sandworm, and Rey is floating with rocks. That's in 10 minutes of movie. And that's like a lot to keep track of. That's like like not even 5 minutes per sequence. That's just like a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with. And the movie, in terms of, even though the action sequences aren't constant, the delivery of exposition is kind of constant in that way. And I've already mentioned it before, but like, okay, yeah, Leia's stuff is really chopped up and awkward and just uncomfortable, because it's like it takes you out of the movie to really remember she's dead. They had to jury rig this together every time you see it. And the dialogue is always feels like it's predicated on getting a page count in final draft, where they're like, how do we make this dialogue as short as possible? There's an exchange where Rey sees Finn. She goes, bad mood. He goes, me. She says, him. And he goes, always. And that's the full exchange. And it's just like, why is no one speaking in complete sentences? Is this just to get it under a page limit? Because it feels that way, in that horrible modern screenwriter way, where it's like, I can't have any dangle. It's like, it doesn't matter. The audience isn't seeing the screenplay. Just write it so it's good.
Thank you. I never realized what was wrong with. Sorry. I just never realized it, because I was like, the quipping. It's like, it feels like it's
Yeah.
genuine. And
But it's not
thank
even
you.
full sentences of quips. It's not even like Spider-Man quips, where he's like at least saying a full thought. They're half sentences. The compressor's down. Oh, I know. I was there. And Finn says every time. What do any of these things have to... They're just phrases. The line's been chopped down to make the script shorter so much, so we can fit in all these unrelated ideas, that even the dialogue just feels like, it's like there's no "you scruffy headed nerf herder." There's no, there's no iconic lines in
Like
this movie
techno babble,
besides
like yeah.
somehow
Yeah.
Palpatine returns, which
Yeah.
is the greatest movie line in history. Okay, and this is another great example. Huge exposition here. How did Palpatine come back? This is the exact line. Dark science, cloning, secrets only the Sith knew. That's 3 sentence fragments back to back. We're not sure if this guy knows it's true or if it's just speculation, but that's all we're given on that. And then we don't know anymore. But it's also like, secrets only the Sith knew? What about Genosha? What about the Clone Wars? Like, I'm not even that hardcore of a fan. It's like, I mean, there was cloning. Like, I don't, It's like, this isn't that secretive. So I don't really like the final order. I don't like the secret fleet of starships. I don't like that Palpatine reveals it all. I don't like that the Knights of Ren only get like 5 seconds. I hate the whole, I feel like it's really tortured. No, what's your last name? That as a repeating thing is a really annoying. It feels
Yeah.
like no one's asking Chewbacca his last name at any point. Like it doesn't, it's like if there's all these different creatures and cultures, I can understand a
Yeah.
little kid asking that, but like, why does every group have a last name? Like not necessarily across
Well,
this
yeah, like
galaxy.
here on Earth, not everybody has a last name. Like
Right. It's like, no, Madonna what? Like, no one's going to fucking say that. It's just
Prince
like, her name's
what?
Madonna. Yeah, right. Exactly. The
Justin
fake
Bieber,
out.
what? Wait a minute. Fuck. Sorry, say that again.
My
Oh, no,
name,
he
what's
could-
your name? Batman. Batman what? Smith? It's like, no, what? I love Zori as played by Carrie. I love Carrie, but Zori is an awkwardly written character who's like, I'm immediately mistrustful. Also, here's the best thing in the world. I forgive you in like the course of one scene. And it's like, you
Yeah.
gave your one get out of jail free card, and it's like,
to a guy
it's the
you
magic
hate.
docking token. It's like, why? I love the Force dyad as a concept. I feel like it's so much less fun here than it was in the previous movie, where it felt weird and strange and new and vaguely intimate. It's like, is this romantic or a threat? We don't know. And that tension was so palpable. In this one, it's like objects can move through it. And it's like, why? Okay, they can. So it also feels weird that they're just like kicking Vader's helmet around. It's like, what a metaphor. So yeah, a lot of people get thrown by the wayside. Rose, Maz, we've talked about that. There's a lot of like director arguing, and it's really awkward. It's like, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect. It's like, okay, that's what the audience was angry about in Last Jedi. It feels weird since we just saw Kylo throw his in the previous scene in this, so even there it
But
feels
his
weird.
is evil.
Yeah, but he's a bad guy. Good is good, bad's bad. I'd get movies, they're deep. So I feel like we get a lot of random shit there in that last scene, and I think like the Palpatine fight thing is just like the flashing lights, headache inducing, painful, awful. He's like doing his plan while he's explaining it in a weird, the power of 2 restores 1. It's like, okay, you're literally telling me that for the first time. Sure.
It's funny because like he's narrating it to like this audience. Like, we don't even know who the audience is, but he's like playing ref and like the heel in like a wrestling match.
Oh god,
and
you're
now
right.
she will
You're
strike me
right.
down.
He's like good old JR should be there. Oh, it's the power of 2 restoring 1, but he's the one doing it. He's also, it's like, I also find it like one of the problems with the tone is just that like at the end of this third movie, it should be triumphant, but like it's literally everyone on Exegol exploding and dying as hopeful music plays, because they're like, well, this moment should be hopeful, so just throw in some hopeful music while sad stuff happens. It's really weird. Okay, so fixes, and I tried to, mine is split, it's like halfway between both of yours, where it's not a full rewrite, but it definitely takes more of the stuff. There's one major part that I'm not 100% sold on. I feel like it's too Marvel and not Star Wars enough, but I think it's almost solved by the idea of that force sucker from the entire planet, whatever it is. I love that idea, and I would put that in mind if I had even considered it.
Please take it.
Also, please play KOTOR 2.
Yeah, I mean, I did. It ends with a bunch of Rancors on the moon. That's it. So I would say that first things first, if Palpatine's back, I don't mind that. I don't mind that Palpatine is back because I love his performance. I don't mind that he's part of this rig or whatever. I don't mind those ideas, because I think what's hard is you want Kylo to have some sort of redemption, even if it's too little too late, even if it's him having to, address the atrocities he's done. You know what I mean? You want him to somehow, you don't want Han and Leia's kid to be completely unredeemably evil. And that's a problem that these movies have had to deal with, just in terms of how they were constructed. And that means in order for there to be a satisfying big fight, I feel like you need something. You need Snoke, but Snoke's gone because Ryan's like, "What if this happens?" And it's like, was really cool at the moment, but then you're like, "Oh no, what do we do with the third movie?"
Shit,
Like,
we needed him.
Yeah, right. Like he functionally, yeah, but like
you George R. R. Martin yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, everybody really liked him.
Well, I thought it was more like he wrote himself in the corner, and that's why he can't write the new books.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
I'm killing your favorite
likely
character.
true too. But it's like, it's also just like what happens when you don't have at least one mind or even a couple of co-writers being like, here's what could happen over the story of these three movies. Now let them go individually and write your dialogue and put in your plot points and set pieces that are unique and individual. But without that overarching vision, you're sort of left with these disjointed arguing movies. But I agree with Leia being gone at the beginning and that creating, I think that should be used to create some sort of stakes for Kylo. I like your idea of Kylo being sort of losing more and more control. My idea was sort of that there would be some sort of coup within the Empire to try to unseat him rather than
oh, that's cool.
Do you know what I mean? Because like, he's not Vader. Even when Vader, and now there's no Snoke. So it's like, if Snoke was the guy who was a calm, cool, and collected evil, now we only have this guy who's getting more and more petulant, who's a jilted lover. He was just rejected by this person he's got this spiritual connection with. And he's probably losing his shit. My question was always like, then what does he want? Does he want revenge against her in some sort of like toxic masculinity way? Is he going to try to destroy Jakku or something? Just as a way of like being like, look what I can do. Fuck you. You don't want me? I'll destroy what you love. You know, is it that kind of thing? Or is his goal something different? Is his goal specifically to get back to her and convert her? Or does he not know? Is he just lashing out like he often does, smashing up consoles? But the idea is that regardless, he's at a place of being pushed to his emotional limit, and it's pushing him further and further into the dark side, but just making him a shittier leader. So Hux and the other guys are like trying to find some way to depose him and send him on more suicidal missions to encourage him so that once he's gone, you know, they can take control. I think my idea was just that the Empire has been for far too long at the mercy of the Sith, these ancient wizards who have their own selfish devices. We need a unified authoritarian front with men who believe in science and technology or something like that, and trying to create a schism there.
Yeah, we've tried the old-fashioned dictatorship. Why not some just good old-fashioned fascism? Why not?
Right,
It's
exactly.
cheap.
Why can't we just have like a plutocratic fascism, you know, like
Exactly.
America? No, I'm kidding.
This feels very prequel era. Like, great job. Like, as someone who loves
that's
the
the
prequels,
biggest insult you could ever tell an old man. Like, but no, I'd say you just said it was what? Fuck this podcast. Unless you meant Watto and Boss Nass, who I stand behind.
I'm not boss nassing your ass, man. You're fine.
Yeah. You're the boss nass of this ass. Oh yeah, that's only a true fan would understand that. Thank you. I like the fun festival in the desert. I like that stuff. Mine is to take what's there and put it basically strip away all the stuff that doesn't work, and then I'm not sure how it would fit together, but I feel like that's what rewrites and zhuzhing are for. Is like, and I think
Figuring it out, yeah.
the biggest difference between and the biggest problem with all of our takes is maybe that it focuses, and I think this is what JJ ran into, is that it focuses on trying to make all these disparate parts come together in a satisfying way in a movie where we got to find some way that, like, you know, our main characters have like a story, like that they not just plot to deal with, but like that same thing of like a story of like, she thought it was this, but she realizes she was this. She goes through this significant change, and it's like you had those little moments in the previous movie where it was like Rey coming to terms with what it means to be a Jedi, Finn realizing, trying to discover where his loyalty is to this cause, and Poe realizing that leadership doesn't always mean he gets exactly what he wants all the time, and he's always let in on the plan. His ego has to take a side trip, and Ryan was good at, even if those aren't always the most satisfying little stories, they are little character stories that felt like they were going somewhere. And it's a shame we didn't get to see, even if it wouldn't be the perfect Star Wars movie, at least what Ryan had planned, because it felt like he was building to something. But I think he might have been too clever by half in setting something up, a puzzle that only he could solve, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
diverting so much of what JJ had set up that was really obvious, that when he was subverting it, it seemed cool. But then, yeah, maybe it was the paint into the corner problem. I don't think it's possible to convince me that Rey could ever go to the dark side, because she's been a cinnamon bun for 2 straight fucking movies. There's no version of it where she could be like, I could see her having doubts, but I can't see her even having Luke like rage for anything.
I might have to respectfully disagree with you there.
Okay.
I feel like the best way to show a character's mindset in Star Wars is through the lightsaber fights if they're force sensitive. And she is furious. Since episode 7, she fights like a dark side user half the time.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, especially yeah.
But she's also not really trained yet either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like she's been taught what to do or what not to do. I'm not saying that she has no capacity to be tempted by the dark side or whatever. I'm saying the threat is not, to me as a film goer, it's never going to be like seeing her shrouded in like sexy Sith outfit. I'm like, that's cool, that's a fun cosplay, but I have a zero expectation that that's going to happen at the end of the 3rd movie of a proposed trilogy. Like, it would be maybe the greatest writing fuck you to fans of all time if that happened and she did become evil and that's the end of the trilogy and they're like, fuck you, what happens next? And you're just like mind blown, Infinity War, like what? But like, as a realistic expectation of a Disney Star Wars movie, no, I'm pretty sure that love is going to conquer, or hope is going to conquer all. So it doesn't feel to me like a realistic threat. It's not that it couldn't happen, it's just that
it's incredibly unlikely for her to gate boss, girl keep, whatever it was, girl boss, girl keep, gaslight.
And I get that she could be, be like, oh, I'm a Palpatine, I can't, but like, I don't like that. I always liked the fan theory that she was like Obi-Wan's kid or something like that. I always thought that was more interesting, just because he's a more charismatic character who has less to do in this trilogy, and it would be a fun thing. But having her be a Palpatine introduces this thing that's like not interesting to me. It just makes her feel grosser and weirder. Like, ew, what does that mean about her? It's not satisfying in any way. So I would have, if you have the Emperor back, her being a Palpatine, no, get rid of that. And yeah, my thing with the Emperor being back, I feel like functionally having a big bad is good if Kylo is sort of like capable of redemption, because it gives you something else to fight against. And functionally it just makes sense. And I mean, you could also have it be something else where it's like there's not really any these threats that happen in like the prequels and some of the others where there was like some technological threat. It doesn't seem as palpable in this, and we haven't done any really cool stuff with droids besides cute droids in these movies. And maybe there's some sort of droid threat, and maybe there's a reason for why that hasn't been done, but because of what we see in episode 1. But maybe there's some sort of like we don't see anything like interesting like General Grievous, who's just like a crazy character design. That's part of what I kind of like that 3rd prequel more than the others, is just like, it's just an insane idea that feels like balls to the walls, and we don't really see that. And I think the other thing I would do is give each of the 3 planets that we go to in this movie more specific personality and more uniqueness, because they barely leave a blip for me in terms of like like Cloud City is iconic, Hoth is iconic, like Endor, the moon of Endor, is iconic. And of course Tatooine is iconic. And like it's just like these besides the I guess like the place where Luke is and the salt planet with the red dust, like we don't have that many interesting locales. It's like we've got a Yavin-esque base with the rebels, and then it's like this ocean planet which just seems like Earth. It's just some ocean on Earth, and like I feel like we just need like a more interesting set pieces which build so much character into the movie and create so much fascination. How many times have we in a game flown around on Hoth? But it's still fun because it's an interesting locale, and there's just no place. As much as I like the idea of like this smuggler's den slums thing, I feel like it feels more like just a built out Mos Eisley on a different planet than it is its own unique thing. And
they did it in Solo, and they did it in
it's just, it doesn't feel as creative. And I also feel like there's a lot of like getting across the galaxy super fast in this movie, where it's like Ben's still standing on the ship while she's already on Luke's planet, and the other duo of guys are back on the rebel base. And it's like, how long has he been standing there? Are these happening at the same time? It's a really weird timing thing that feels also Game of Thrones late game show, where it's like people are just anywhere around the map they need to be to make scenes more interesting at this point. I had sort of an overarching, I think the most interesting thing that is going on in these is the Force dyad. And I think what would be more fun is if we built out the mythology of what that means, like within the movies, and what that could be, which is that I thought maybe if the Force has sort of a will of its own and sort of has like a flexible almost mind, where it's like it's trying to be like some sort of like web of fate, but it doesn't have all powerful control. It can be bent and changed like a little bit. I'm not sure how that works in terms of like if Star Wars is a universe where everything must be a certain way, but there are all these like failed prophecies. You were supposed to be the chosen one sort of suggests to me that there is a prophecy and the failure of fulfillment, which means that fate can be bent and changed or broken. And I was thinking that perhaps because Rey and Kylo share this special bond, and to me the most logical thing is like, why do they have that special bond? Well, it would make the most sense if they were related in some way, but because parentage is in such a, it doesn't make sense for them to be like genetically related in this way. Maybe they were like created or born of the Force at the same time, like worlds apart, and have some sort of like cosmic connection between them as an entity of with a tendency towards good and an entity with a tendency towards evil, or the light and the dark side, as a way for the will of the Force to be trying to balance, to bring balance of itself, rather than creating a perfect savior who would ultimately destroy the other side, but to create a sort of a yin and a yang who would stay in constant opposition and sort of a scales of balance of one another. And that true destruction could only happen if one side overtook the other, because that meant the dark side would win if either of them destroyed the other or converted the other. And so the reason that their connection is so strong is because they need to, they're finding that communion across time and space, which sort of bridges that gap.
Have you haven't seen Clone Wars?
No.
Is
that part of it?
There is an arc where something similar happens. Yours is a much more much less confusing and much more nuanced take, I think.
Oh, thank you.
They're born at the same time. They're energetic. They're opposites. What you're telling me is Rey and Kylo were the original Geminis.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know anything about the
astrology.
So
yeah, there's the twins, the Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
before I forget, uh, so since Kylo has since Kylo in 7 is like being told by Snoke that you have to keep fighting the call of the light, would it be that you said one is of light and one is more of darkness? Would it be that Rey is of darkness and Kylo's of light, and they're both doing the opposite of their nature?
I think it's that I don't know. To me, it's still a hard sell that Rey would be, because I would say that the implication that, okay, so we have this like Rashomon moment in Last Jedi where both Ben and Luke see this moment. The same moment happens, and we see it from it's something that's totally unique in Star Wars. We see their memories play out, and to each of them, it's like just a little bit different. And it's like he's like, I thought I saw the evil in him, which I think would be the tendency towards evil. The reason he hasn't fallen to it yet is because he's constantly been surrounded by people who represent good, which is, Han Solo's sort of like roguishness, but ultimately good. Leia's ultimately a force of good. Luke ultimately a force of good. What we're seeing at that moment is the dark side creeping fears of doubt into Luke and thinking this dark side could create another Anakin situation. I need to snuff it out here. This is why why Kylo is so easily triggered, because he's like, I knew it. Even the good are ultimately bad. And that's what I've always thought deep down inside of me all along. I have a natural tendency to want things to be as cynical as I am. And so I think what keeps him, it's not that either is born perfectly bad or perfectly good. It's just that they have either a psychological or force-based tendency to see those outlets as the correct way.
Okay.
So in general, what Snoke would mean in that situation, and maybe this is too much for retcon, is just that because there's always the call of Leia and she's a strong force user, there will always be some side of him. That's why I think like he's like, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Which means he knows based on the rules of the Sith that he's supposed to kill his dad right now, but he doesn't really want to do it because he feels still this like little pull even inside. He's not fully evil. He just he's just like, because I mean that's the other part of the dyad too. It's like they are connected. Neither one can be fully one way or the other without destroying the other. I think that's I'm not sure if it by the numbers. I'm sure you can, being better versed in all the movies, can find ways that it might not perfectly work or would have to be zhuzhed in such a way. But in my mind, it's that he was born of people who loved him, who tried to raise him right, but always there was this tendency to want to push in this direction. And it's not like he can completely let go. That's why he's tortured psychologically on the inside, is because he's fighting these things. And but I think it's the same way. It's like why Rey was like abandoned by her parents, left to rot, and she's like, I'm so hopeful. It's like they should be in opposite straits, but because their natural nature, to me it's like trying to make sense of what's there in the broader sense, less so than
you're just recontextualizing what's there. No, I like it. I really do. I think I almost saw this, like, for a second, I almost forgot where we were, what podcast this was, and I thought this was just like
the
a deep
new
character
reality
analysis,
that we live in, and I was like, oh yeah,
I thought it was just a deep character analysis, because this could retroactively, like, I know it's a retcon, but it feels like less of a retcon and more of just a recontextualization. It's good
because it's
really
like
good.
The thing is, we don't have the details of what a force dyad is, and I felt like, oh, that's what we're building to, right? I mean, in the I look at the movies as their own thing, and I know we're sort of beyond that now into what Star Wars has become with Mando and stuff, where it's like, oh, Star Wars is kind of recontextualizing all this stuff, taking some, like you said, and some of it's building out into what is becoming now the larger canon amongst shows and perhaps books and how they all fit together. So it's a little bit changing. But to me, it's like the movies are the movies. That's where it started. So if you want something to really matter in the movies, it should be introduced in the movies and explained in the movies. It doesn't mean you can't take from the other stuff, but you should do a good job for people who've only seen the movies to make that make sense. And I feel like this force diet is so interesting, and it becomes so important in this movie where it's like, oh, I can come back to life just by absorbing it. So it must be powerful. But I think like play into it in a way where it's like for fans who want to see these two together and they see them as star-crossed lovers, make the dyad the most powerful force in the universe. That only fulfills their things. For people who want to see something new in the force, give this dyad some incredible dual powers that only they can activate together or something like that. Push it in that direction too. It solves a lot of problems by creating something new and interesting out of what's already there.
Yeah.
And
one of the things that I'm liking in your interpretation is like usually in the trope where it's like one's ultimate evil, one's ultimate good. They're always like 100%, but the way that you're describing it to me, the way I'm hearing it is like they're always a mix. Like there's never 100% in one. It's always like 60-40, 30-70. Like there's kind of a mix and they still like balance each other out that way. I think that's really interesting.
Well, and we've seen that before too. But I think what's interesting about Star Wars is that pure good does exist. The light side of the force is pure good. It's just that we are always fighting the temptation of sin or the dark side to reach that full thing. Like Luke, just wailing away at his dad and just like feeling that temptation and that pull, and Anakin ultimately succumbing to it. It's like Anakin was a sweet little kid. There was nothing in him naturally that felt like, oh yeah, that kid's definitely gonna like. It's not, and nothing about Ben has seemed like he was always pure evil. It's just, it feels like he's such an edgelord tryhard who wants so bad to be the most powerful guy in the universe and wants this tendency that he feels in him. He doesn't want the hard path to be the right path. He wants the easy path that's bad and makes him feel good. And I think Rey's journey would be to maybe the scales fall from her eyes, force her to make some hard choices, like Star Trek style, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, make her realize that she can't be a hero for an entire galaxy with many needs without making sacrifices, and realizing that being pure good isn't always so easy or something like that, which means she has to give into this cynicism or darkness a little bit too, and they're neither one is pure. They like balance each other, and then maybe can team up in just a big third act movie sense against whatever this big bad is. Either it's, I mean, I think there's something interesting too about like these clones, and he made Snoke, and like maybe there's other creatures or something like that that are like made of these dark Sith experimentations or other things imbued with the Force. That's what I was playing with, and I don't know what they would necessarily look like, but creepy is my idea, I guess.
I got one.
Hector coming in clutch.
I got one. Do you remember what I said earlier about how in the old canon, and I'm not sure about the new canon, you can't clone Force sensitive people because they always end up going crazy.
Right.
What if that was the big... What if they unearth a bunch of, like, clones in suspension, like, Force-using clones in suspension, and the two of them have to work together to stop the...
Yeah.
Right. Or like, okay, what if we have a way of... Okay, they always go crazy, right? So that means they're pretty much beasts. It's like, what if we take that and create something that has some sort of Force power that is just purely bestial, but has some sort of connectivity to the dark side or something, and is capable of using these powers or something, like...
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Right. It would be really terrifying, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily super intelligent. It's not like some super calculating. It lacks that because it's a pure rage beast. But if they were like, imagine how many toys you could sell. And if Star Wars is about anything, it's about Ewoks and selling toys. But I mean, like,
and Lucas needs his merchandising money.
Exactly. Merchandising. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Like, it's... And I guess the other guys, their main thing would be, I think Finn. We know. I feel like it's. I as much fun as I think Poe being gay and Finn being in love with Poe is just to make fans happy. I feel like what they were setting up is a love triangle with Rose, Finn, and Rey in the previous movie.
I hated
And
that.
so I feel like Rose loves Finn, Finn loves Rey, and Rey realizes her first priority is figuring out this dyad with Kylo, whether that's love or something else. And so I feel like there would be some sort of like, this some sort of pull of like Finn demanding that she stop exploring this thing because it's only going to bring you closer to the dark side, but in doing so driving her in that direction just because she feels like she can't trust her friends anymore or something like that. But it's hard because it's like you're dealing with characters who again don't have the clearest third movie like goals or whatever outside of just being along for the ride. It's like, I don't know. Poe felt so ancillary in Force Awakens that when he's given his whole big thing in the second one, it's like, okay, so obviously he's going to be like some sort of like general or strategist in terms of this third movie because he's poised to be that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
then-
feel like these movies should have like a big space shootout because they're Star Wars movies, so maybe he's in charge of that and that's his deal. But yeah, functionally it's hard because like I like the I feel like love triangles are really fun and can be compelling, but there's something about the way this one is set up just naturally based on the components of it, where it's like you don't really want either Finn or Rose to be completely jilted. And I think that's just why they sort of sideline both any romantic whatever with them completely. It's because you don't really want either of them to be heartbroken because it doesn't seem fair. And
Mhm.
there's no happy couple who smooches at the end of the movie that feels like, besides Kylo, that feels like, or Raylo, that feels like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
sure, but it felt a little unearned in this one, but it felt like a little fan servicey too. So it's like,
Yeah, it wasn't a love triangle in this trilogy. It was like a love dodecahedron or like love 4D chess trying to figure
right.
out all the ships and relationships.
It almost feels like someone should die. You almost want. I feel like
Yeah.
there's something poetic about um, someone going off and dying in the third act, like Han was supposed to, and they made Dash Rendar do in Shadows of the Empire. I feel like there's something there, but I feel like what's more important is exploring the Force dyad, focusing on the main stories of those two characters, and then giving Finn something to do. I think your idea of giving him a lightsaber again is the best thing you could do with that character because that was one of the most fun ideas that we saw in the trailer that like never got really realized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that it was a fake out, but at least keep some of it, you know?
Yeah, they
What a
saw
fun
how the
fake
fans
out to
reacted to
tell every black kid out there you're nearly a Jedi.
Yeah.
what
it. He
a
might be
nice
force
what a nice
sensitive, but not in
like,
canon.
You guys have Mace Windu, it's fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like,
20
That's
years
true.
ago.
You
Not
did give
shitting
this,
on
but,
Mace
I mean,
not shitting on Mace Windu, but just the fact that like that was the only Black Jedi.
no, you're right. I mean, there is Mace and Mace rules and Samuel L. Jackson rules in general, but still, it's like, oh boy, I get a new character who represents me. Is kind of like it kind of as a fake out. It's not great. It feels a little akin to the Spice Runner thing we said earlier. We discussed
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah,
It's like,
that
seems a little
that's still
disrespectful.
that made me hate the movie a lot. Like I can't. with
Yeah,
that
I
one.
remember like as soon as that happened, you're like, "What the fuck?" Like in the seat next to me, just what the fuck?
Because like I read the leaks and that part was not mentioned in the leaks. Because to some people, whoever did the leaks was like, it's not worth mentioning. But I was just like, what the fuck are they doing?
Right.
Like this is
I
the
mean,
first Spanish speaking actor that I recognize, at least I
In a
know, in Star Wars film.
trilogy, yeah,
And like
Yeah.
I was a huge fan back then. Like I'm still am a huge fan, but nowhere.
yeah. It
Like,
took
ask
the wind out of
Ruthie.
your sails.
Yeah, that took the wind out of my sails. Mando brought some of it back, but it's not been the same.
Mhm.
yeah, Mando has been really satisfying to me because it's sort of given me everything I wanted, which was just like but they still fall into the same tropes. It's like, yeah, but what's Luke doing? What if we CGI'd Luke? Because Luke's here, and I'm just like, stop resurrecting. I mean, I wouldn't mind watching like a CGI cartoon where we see classic characters and we can explore that. But like, if you're doing such a good job of not making this thing about Skywalkers or our central crew for the first time and giving me a Star Wars story, it reminded me of reading Tales from Jabba's Palace as a kid and being like, oh, fun. So there's just a lot of interesting things happening in this universe, and we can explore those. But like, yeah, it does. I get a little bit like, okay, everything's connected and everything. It's like no matter where we are in this giant, massive galaxy, everybody is 10 feet from a desert planet. And, it's like if we crash on Jakku, it's right next to that other thing on the planet. Just like if you crashed anywhere on Earth, you'd be right next to, it's like, sometimes it feels like we spend so much time with these same folks that we're not having fun. All right, so yeah, that's everything I have to say. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
I forgot to tell you the end bits.
Oh sure.
Oh yeah. So
do you want to?
Yeah. First we do fixes or not grades. We do like letter grades, like school
of the actual movie.
Yes. What you thought of the original movie? Then Hector has had us do what media we consumed, like a shout out kind of
in like
feature.
the last week or two.
Yeah,
anything that's been cool.
Okay.
And then we kind of babble on and then we sign out.
Yeah.
All right. I guess this movie I would give like a D. I mean, it's not completely without merit, but both times I watched it, it felt like it was like going back into surgery. It like wasn't like, it felt more fun as like an analyzing thing, if I could say. Yeah, and never once while I was watching it, except for that like 20-minute span, whereas I was like, oh, I'm watching a movie. It was just like, oh, and then this scene happens, and I got to write about that. It was like, and I liked both your rewrites on it. I feel like either of those would be a more interesting movie. And what was the other thing? What I've watched?
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of The Boys, and I've been playing. I just finished Ghost of Tsushima. That's like what
I saw your stream.
So yeah, that was really, really fun and really enjoyable. And I'm doing some Ace Attorney. I'm a big time gamer, so those things are eating up my time.
I need to play Ace Attorney.
Yeah,
I've just been playing Monster Hunter like some break.
Fun. Yeah, I got to get into that.
If you like having a life, don't.
I don't.
I love the game, but it's a grind fest.
Yeah.
We fight over the Switch just so we. I want to fight it now. It's me.
She tells me to edit the podcast so she has time to play. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So where are you at in The Boys? Because I'm like halfway through season 2.
I'm like towards the end of this most recent season. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm not like. Yeah.
I felt like this movie out of the trilogy. I think I've given this analogy, but it feels like it showed up for the participation grade in the group project.
Ow, my jaw.
Like, didn't do any homework, didn't help with any of the slides, and then finally, like, they'll go up to present, and they butchered everything, and the rest of the team's like, what the fuck? All of that was wrong, and now the professor... So yeah, I guess, I don't know. Is that D- energy?
That's D- energy.
Yeah, I feel like participation gives it, like, too much credit, almost. It feels like it showed up, and it came there, and it's just, like, covered in dirt and dog shit. And like flies are coming off of it, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? You couldn't have showered?" And they're like, "What? You don't like Star Wars? Fuck you then." And it's just like, what's your attitude? This is supposed to be fun for my family. Like,
you don't have to describe a fighting game convention like that, dude.
It do be like that.
And then he just goes over and then he plays Captain Falcon and he just spams Falcon Punch the whole time. He says he's a pro.
Oh, dude.
Only interrupted by an unending stream of slurs.
Oh, dude. Ed is a Falcon main. If you ever meet him, I'm going to show him. I'm going to tag that clip and just send it to him. Like he thinks.
Impression.
Whatever. Ganondorf's stronger.
But so much slower. I also play Smash.
I love Smash. I love Smash.
I'm a Link main.
Oh, man.
Oh, there you go. I am Yoshi main, believe it or not.
Nice.
I
Respect.
only play what will annoy Ed.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No,
I
she-
play
she-
Sonic and Ness.
Oh, wonderful. Both wonderful characters.
Both wonderful.
What about
Yeah.
you? What's your letter? Oh wait, you haven't done what you've been watching.
Yeah, what have I been watching? That's a great question. What have I been watching? I can't remember.
I know, right?
I've been playing Monster Hunter. I finally I took a break and then we got the DLC for Hector's birthday last month.
Mm.
And then I'm like, I'm not going to touch it. I was addicted to it. It's his birthday month. It's his turn. And then he would play it on the couch and I'd be doing work and he'd be like, "Gee, I'm having so much fun." God. The Twitch came back and I started playing it and it was a lot of fun to come back to.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot of Oxygen Not Included again, and I'm addicted to that game.
Oh,
I'm also really bad at that game. I'm also gonna just add for Ed because he texted me this morning. I recommended a game to him. I call it my train game, but it's called Sunless Skies. It's Lovecraftian trains in space.
Cool.
It's amazing, and he recommends it. I am telling you now, audience.
Oh, he said.
I will pull it up. Yeah.
If it's not too private, please pull up the actual text.
It's not private. He's just like, I played the game. I love the atmosphere. It's 5 minutes into Sunless Skies. I love the feel, atmosphere, and music.
There you go.
If you like Lovecraft
Good
shit, it scratches the itch without the racism, which I like.
Yeah.
It's hard to avoid in those stories. I mean, it's just like every story. I was like, come on, man, what are you? But
So, what do you think of Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
A+, right? You loved it.
A+.
S-class.
Love the fact that Poe was a spice runner. Just love it.
That's
Love
gonna knock
it.
it a couple letter grades right there.
It's most of them. It's a D. It's like a D.
Oh, really? I thought you were gonna go this is gonna be your Cure for Wellness episode.
I'm not doing Cure for Wellness is a special hell. That one is the lowest grade ever. I
gave it an E. I was like, fuck F. I'm gonna give it an E. I hated that movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Don't.
If you want to listen,
I'll watch it. Jeez, reverse psychology. I get it.
God, I can't. What I saw something recently that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it. There is a YouTube video called Dragon Ball
dance.
Legends. Huh?
It's just TikTok dance.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm gonna do it, and just starts dancing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This is the
Matt,
part of
did
the
you
podcast.
prepare your dance? What?
There is a video on.
That sounds like a great April Fool's bit.
I actually had.
That
I
would
just
be-
thought of our April Fool's Day episode.
What show did we just start? Oh, you know what? We did start that show.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Everyone already knows about the rehearsal though, so I'm not gonna do the rehearsal.
Oh, I've heard.
I love the rehearsal.
I've started it. It takes me so long to get through Nathan For You type stuff because I'm just like, okay, I'm cringing. I need to stop for a few minutes.
I get
and
that.
just
Yes,
pause.
I almost had to stop through the first episode.
Can I? So let me do my actual one before we can talk about Nathan For You, or that one. There is a YouTube video by a guy called Agent Mystery Meat called Legend, a Dragon Ball tale. It is 11.5 minutes.
Oh, that one.
Yes, it's a fan made. Some fan was like, I'm gonna recontextualize Dragon Ball in an 11.5 minute fan film.
Not C, not Super, not GT, Dragon Ball.
Like OG Dragon Ball with bits of Z in there.
Yeah.
But it's 11.5 minutes. It recontextualizes some stuff. It's animated by one dude. It took him 10 years to make, 8 or 10 years.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
It's
it puts a lot of
beautiful.
anime to shame.
Link me that because I watched the original Dragon Ball.
I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, tweet it at me.
I'll
Or
DM you
me
on
or
it.
whatever. Yeah.
I'll DM it to you. But yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
So before we head out, do you want to plug your?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think I did, but yeah, the show is called Made Up Movies. It's me and my co-host Mike Kolar, my best friend from high school, and we take suggestions from listeners like you, and people send in fake movie ideas, and we review them like they're real. So someone's like, the president is a dog, and that's the movie. It's President Dog, President Golden Retriever, and then we have to improvise in real time a movie with that with that story. And yeah, we ramble a lot, but we eventually, in the last 20 minutes or so, actually get through the plot of the movie. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you like the show, check out our Patreon. We just put out our first bonus episode.
Congrats.
Thank you. And our premise of that is that all the movies that we get are from an alternate universe where these movies actually exist. And so Kolar and I have gone to the video store in the alternate universe to find rare finds. So in this episode, you'll hear us at the video store, and Kolar discovers a movie about little German children who fight the Nazis to make sure that people respect German chocolatiers who have lost their acclaim due to the menace of Hitler. So they're using chocolate and strudels to fight the Nazis with the help of an American prisoner of war and a French guy who no one can understand because no one speaks French. And they put on a little lederhosen, dance routine. So that's you'll get for $5 a month on our Patreon. You'll get that episode and then whatever other one we do. I've got some really stupid ideas that I'll find in the video store. But yeah, and you can also put in like extra money if you want. There's a premium tier if you want to get your movie idea made right now. Please, no death threats. We tried to do a Star Wars one. The guy was not happy about that.
Wait, was that real? I thought that was a gag.
There was no real death threats, but the guy who suggested that was really mad at us. He was furious. He was furious because like he had sort of like we did with our fixes right now. He's like, I was like, we recorded the episode. He's like, you should have consulted me. And I was like, well, that's not the show. It's improv. And he was still mad. He's like, fine, but I'll do a takedown on my own podcast of you guys. I'm like, well, don't tell us.
Damn.
That just makes, I'm like, I don't understand. I feel like you had an idea for your movie. It's like, it sounds like you already wrote that one, pal. It's made up movies. They're made up. They're made up.
Yeah, just do it yourself as a bonus episode or something, my man.
I don't know.
Wait for Patty Jenkins to release it if that ever actually comes out.
Do the Patton Oswalt one from Parks and Rec.
Oh my god, that's so great. But yeah, that's Made Up Movies, and we're on all the platforms and whatnot, so please check us out if you get a chance.
They're really funny, I can attest.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Way crazy long. I know we went on for a long time.
Oh, it's a two-parter for sure. It's our first two-parter. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, it was a blast. Let me know if you guys ever want to play D&D. I'm always down. And yeah, that's all from me.
Perfect.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we should probably say where you can find us. You can find us on
Twitter,
Instagram.
You can email us.
Our Twitter is @reshootmoviepO1. Our Instagram is reshoot underscore podcast.
Email is reshootpodcast@gmail.com.
Send us all your mail. Not all your... Yes, all your mail. I messed that up, but I'm going to keep
Send
it.
us a picture of a leaf.
All your bills.
Yes.
We're not going to pay them, but we will have access. And since you send it to us, we can legally read them. I think that's the law. Don't quote me on this, lawyers.
Send
us a joke.
Send us audio messages that give away your evil plan in the first 5 minutes of the movie and just say that you somehow returned. And
if you're a clone, you legally have to tell us. You can't...
Dude, you a clone? You gotta tell me, man. All right.
Oh, man.
Thanks, you guys.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.